Hi everybody! This is Meg Smith here with Toxin Free Life, and I am doing another live stream today as part of the Detox Your Life series, and this one is all about toxin-free air. So we're going to talk about, what's in your breathable air that can hurt your health, and also a lot about EMF radiation and what that is and how to mitigate it and why you would want to mitigate it. So a little bit about me and what I do. I'm a detox coach for the body and home, and today you'll learn not only about how to improve your breathable air but also mitigate the toxin that is EMF radiation. So that would be kind of the home detoxing message of the video. If you want any more information on the supplies that I use for this, I've included a link above or below. I can't remember where it appears. And then there's also a link to just a general explanation of EMF radiation. But again, we're going to talk about other things that are in your breathable air as well. So a little bit about Toxin Free Life. That is my website, toxinfreelife.com, and you can find information there about how to fortify your body to deal with everyday toxins and fight them off, as well as how to, detox your environment. So it's kind of a hub of resources, and I encourage you to go there, and please share this video and share also the other information on toxinfreelife.com if you feel so inclined. And my voice alone is not strong enough to get the message out there, so if ever you want to partner up or learn how you can help further the message, then let me know. I'd love to find some good partners out there who are like-minded and want to share the information. So to start out, we're going to talk a little bit about what's in the breathable air. So whether this is at home or work or wherever, there are things that you're breathing in that you should try to mitigate through air purification, etc. So some of that are obviously airborne bacteria and viruses, VOCs or volatile organic compounds, formaldehyde, cyanide, and airborne oxidized. We talked about VOCs, mold, bacteria, I think I mentioned. So these are all things that could be in your breathable air and obviously harm your health. And the best way to avoid them is to neutralize them or deactivate them with an air purification system. The one that I use sends out a friendly molecule to us, but it is not friendly to all of the aforementioned things, and studies show that it deactivates them within moments. So if you want any more information about that type of system, let me know. It's different because it doesn't pull air in, try to scrub it and push it back out. It actually sends out a molecule that attaches and deactivates to molds and viruses and VOCs, etc. So the person who actually invented the machine that I use is located here in Colorado, local to me, and I will be helping him kind of bring the machine to market. But for now, if you want more information, I can definitely get you in touch with him if you want that kind of machine in your workplace or your home. It is really affordable and something that I highly recommend. I like using it here, and it's actually helped us with Delaney's allergies. So my older one is allergic to mountain grass, which is lurking right outside our door because we live in the mountains. So go figure. But anyway, it has improved her quality of life a lot to have that allergen deactivated here in the house. So let me know if you want any more info on that. And now on to the other thing that is in your breathable air, but also just the air that flows through your body, etc., and that is EMF radiation. So what is EMF radiation and why should you be worried about it is probably your next question. So EMF radiation is produced by wireless devices and large appliances. There are known effects of EMF radiation on all of us, and special concern are those who are more vulnerable, like children, infants, elderly, people who are experiencing illness, because their immune systems are not able to kind of fight off this predator to the immune system. There are a lot of countries out there that no longer allow wireless signals in their hospitals, in their schools, based on the data that's currently available. But nothing is being done here to mitigate it, so you have to take control of that yourself. To assess your exposure, you can actually get a meter, and in the supplies link next to this video, you'll see a link there that you can go to the Amazon store with some of this mitigation supplies available, and you can get a meter. That's what we used here to assess how much EMF was coming into the home before we did our mitigation, because you obviously don't want to waste money on mitigating something that isn't an issue. So maybe your home is already pretty protected, and you can use the meter to determine that. If you're here locally, I'm happy to help out. You can borrow my meter. But, if you're not, you may want to invest in one and just, measure and see where you're at. So you can go to my website to learn more about EMF radiation and just see an explanation, but a little bit about why I became concerned with it. I want to kind of go over that because you may be experiencing symptoms that are related to EMF sensitivity that you don't know are from that. So that was my experience. And basically, before I was aware of how to manage my health through nutrition, I was immunocompromised because I was basically vegetable and fruit deficient. So raise your hand out there if that's you. I can definitely help you, add more nutrition to your system, make simple changes. Let me know if you want information on that. But before I knew how important nutrition was, I was immunocompromised. And during that time, I was also working in intense EMF environment. It was an office that had a strong Wi-Fi signal for everyone to be operating from, and of course everyone had their personal wireless devices, sometimes more than one. And so there were also nearby cell towers, and so basically, I and everyone I was working with were bathing in this, and I discovered that when I wasn't taking care of myself nutritionally and giving myself the strength to fight things off, I was experiencing sensitivity to this. And it was quite scary. It came to me in the form of optical migraines. And basically, if you've never had one, it's alarming the first few times because you don't know what's happening, but you're not able to see. It's not painful. Sometimes it's followed with a migraine, a headache, but for me, it wasn't painful. It was just I would lose vision and then go into somewhat of a shock because I was so scared of what was happening. And that made me feel like I was basically having a stroke. But it wasn't the case. I wasn't having a stroke. Everything was okay there. But I was experiencing these optical migraines because I was not strong enough to withstand the exposure, and I was bathing in this, high intense EMF kind of facility. And then I experienced them again here in the home in Colorado that we're in because we have a smart meter. This was on the home before we ever moved in, and the electric company can come, at least in the state of Colorado, and just change out your old analog electricity meter for a smart meter. And these are dangerous because they send a strong signal out to the person who measures your electricity usage wirelessly. So, before they used to have to come look at the meter to see what your usage was, but now it's sent out wirelessly. And that is a very strong signal that also enters your home. But there are guards that you could put on your smart meter to mitigate the signal that's sent so that they can still get their data, but you're not being exposed to such a strong signal. And those guards are also in the Amazon link above, or it doesn't say Amazon, but in the supplies link above. So basically those two things those were the two times in my life where I experienced the optical migraines. But if I mitigate my exposure, I don't have that issue. So since taking all the steps here to mitigate and also fortifying myself nutritionally, I've been able to stop experiencing the symptoms. So it's really important to just assess whether or not you are feeling symptoms that are because of EMF, and then maybe do some mitigation. But if you also have people in your home who are more high risk to be affected by it, children, infants, elderly, someone who's experiencing an illness, the long-term effects for them can be scary, and it's worthwhile to do some mitigation just so that you're not negatively affecting them. So I also want to go over kind of the sources and strategies to avoid exposure. So obviously a big EMF emitting device in our lives are our wireless devices, so cell phones, tablets, anything that's sending and receiving a signal. So if you're in the habit of wearing your cell phone, don't wear it. Put it in a bag. And if you're talking with it against your head, don't do that. Use the earbuds or the speakerphone, but keep it away from you. And pregnant mamas, don't sit with your laptops with Wi-Fi or sending and receiving signals right in front of your belly, because you're directly bathing that kiddo in the EMF, and it's bad for their brain development basically. So something to avoid. Again, there's more information on my website. There's also a good book that you can get from the website, and it's called Wireless Radiation Rescue. It provides a really solid explanation of current issues, science, and mitigation options, including a chart that I have on the website, which basically shows the penetration of cell phone radiation in an adult, a 10-year-old, and a 5-year-old. And you'll see that, you know, a small part of the skull is exposed in an adult or penetrated, and then in a 10-year-old it's about halfway, but in a 5-year-old it's almost, you know, across their entire brain. So the science behind it is showing us that it hurts brain development. So it's something to think about. So I'm going to look at my notes here, make sure I'm talking about everything I need to. Let's see. So how do we avoid the negative consequences of EMF? A, strengthen your immune system so that you have the ability at a cellular level to fight off every kind of toxin, not just EMF. The best way to strengthen your immune system is through whole food nutrition, including supplementation, and we do that. You've probably heard me talk about it before, but we take basically produce concentrates, so fruit and vegetables that have been dehydrated into a powder, and that delivers a lot of nutrition to us every day, and that helps your immune system in, you know, on all fronts. So reducing exposure is the other option. So you want to make sure you're fortifying yourself nutritionally, and you want to make sure you're reducing your exposure. So here in our home, there's a few different things that we do. The first thing is we don't use Wi-Fi like 95% of the time. I have it on right now just so I can do this live stream, but I'll turn it right off again. And it's easy to manage your Wi-Fi online. You can go to your gateway, your wireless network configuration website, and turn it on and off when you're online from your computer via Ethernet. So if you're a Comcast customer, it's very easy to do. You just type in 10.0.0.1 into your browser as the web address, and then when you go there, the default login is admin, and password is password, all lowercase. And then when you get there, you can manage your Wi-Fi. You just click on connection and then Wi-Fi, and then edit your Wi-Fi network, and you can turn the Wi-Fi on and off. So we just have it off basically all the time until I started live streaming, and then I'll turn it off again when I'm done. And to get internet signal to the computer, we just use the regular old Ethernet cord. So you can do that to your computer, you can do that to your smart TV, we do that as well upstairs. And when you are trying to get the signal via Ethernet to a device that is in a room that is away from your router, where the other end of the Ethernet cord plugs in, you can get what's called a power line adapter. So we have that, and basically you plug the power line adapter into an electrical outlet by your router, and you have an Ethernet cord going from the router to the power line adapter, which is plugged into your electrical wiring via an electrical outlet. And then you take the other end, the other power line adapter, they come in pairs, and then you plug that into another electrical outlet in your home and have an Ethernet cord going from that adapter to the device. So basically you've converted your electrical wiring in the home to carry your Ethernet or your internet signal between those adapters. So it cuts out the wireless need, and you can get those in the supplies link above as well. So that's one way we avoid it. We don't use the Wi-Fi. The second way is we don't use our cell phones at home. We have a regular old landline. And we have corded phones, because wireless phones are some of the worst offenders regarding EMF and RF radiation. And you don't want to use those wireless phones. I know they seem so convenient, but you can just have a regular old corded phone and you can pick it up and talk on it just the same. So we have our phones plugged in to a landline so that all the signals are traveling through wires instead of wirelessly. To To not use your cell phone, you can easily forward it to your landline when you're home. We just do that all the time. We forward it before we enter the house. And then if you call my cell phone, it'll ring my landline. And then when I leave, I unforward it and have the cell phone available. We talked about the smart meter guard. So basically the way that looks is it's just a cylinder of mesh, wire mesh, and then there's a top on it, and you just pop it right onto your smart meter. And then that reduces the signal strength. We don't use digital send and receive devices. So if you've got babies out there, digital baby monitors are, part of this research shows that those are not good to have next to the baby because they're sending a signal back and forth. So we have the old analog ones that you just listen to. And it's fine, we're not watching the baby on the cell phone, but it's better for them. And then alarm clocks. So things that you sleep near, you shouldn't be sleeping near devices that are plugged in. So don't sleep next to your cell phone or your tablet and have it sending wireless signals. Don't sleep next to devices, large things that are plugged in, because they send EMF as well. Or they create EMF field, electromagnetic fields as well. So don't sleep next to an alarm clock that's plugged in. We just have an old battery operated one, even with the dials instead of the digital numbers, and it works just fine. So we don't sleep next to things basically that are creating electromagnetic fields. We don't use a microwave. You don't need it. Trust me, I have a toaster oven and a stove and a regular oven, and they all work just fine. The thing that really scared me about microwaves is when I had the babies, they talked about how never ever microwave breast milk for the baby because it changes the molecular structure of the milk, which is dangerous for the baby. Well, it's changing the molecular structure of everything that goes in it. And it's sending out a lot of, microwaves that go right through you, and it's not good to expose yourself to that. And it even sends those out when you're not using it and it's just plugged in. So we just took it out of the kitchen. It's sitting in the basement and it's not plugged in. And then the other thing is that EMF can come in, the radiation can come into your home from outside sources. So if you live near a tower, like TV antenna, cell phone towers, etc., those signals are really strong coming from the towers, and they can come right into your home. So the other thing that we did is we took the meter and we measured all the windows. We are actually located near Lookout Mountain towers, which are the worst ones apparently in the whole country. Go figure. EMF mitigator, living next to the worst towers. It's like Delaney with her allergy to mountain grass. So anyway, we measured all of the windows and saw which ones had higher levels, and we determined that not all of our windows even needed to be mitigated, but some of them did. And the window film that people often put on their homes to reduce solar energy coming in can also mitigate EMF. So if you're local to me, you can go to my website and look at the 8 steps to mitigate EMF and learn about the solar panel stuff, and you can actually just shoot an email to the guy who did our solar. Scottish Window Tint is the name of the company, and he'll be happy to help. So basically we determined which windows needed to have film placed on them, and then we made that, pretty affordable investment just to cover those windows. And then we remeasured, and guess what? It's reduced to an acceptable point. So you can do that as well if you're feeling that, there's EMF radiation coming in from outside because you're near a tower or something else. Or maybe you have a neighbor with like a cell phone booster. And that also helps with your energy costs when you use those window films, because it lets less heat in and out and cool air in and out during the colder or hotter months. So you're actually going to save yourself some money. And then, like I said, you can invest in a meter. So that is always an option. So those are basically all the steps that we do here. And I'm trying to think, I think that's it. We don't have the Wi-Fi. We use corded phones, analog devices near our beds and the children's beds. We use the window film. I think that's it. So let me know if you have questions. There's other things you can do too. They have paint called Y-paint. We haven't made this investment yet, but we may. And that goes on the walls under your, cosmetic paint, and can block signals from coming through the walls as well. And then, so I think that's it. We talked a little bit about your breathable air and how you can purify that using a machine. If you want more information on that particular machine that I've evaluated and let me know. The machine we use covers 3,000 square feet, but there are smaller and larger versions as well. And the way that it works, it just deactivates particulates in the air on contact, so viruses, etc. And this machine was actually tested by NASA and the Department of Homeland Security. So they've got a lot of solid data about what it can do, and it's amazing. So I think that might be it. Oh, one question you might have is, why is it important to purify my air inside when I'm going to go right back outside again and just be, subjecting myself to exposure to all the things that I purified when I was inside? Well, the important reason to have an air purification system inside to deactivate these particulates is because when you're spending wake or sleep time in pure air, you're actually letting your immune, nervous, and respiratory systems rest, which has probably never happened because you've probably never had the exposure to pure air before. And when that happens, when those systems actually get the chance to rest, your body regains the strength that it needs to fight exposure to toxins in all the other spaces that you enter with breathable air that is not so pure. So think about that. If you are laying down at night, sleeping all those hours, and you're breathing in pure air, your body gets the opportunity to rest and regenerate and be stronger to fight off the exposures in the rest of your day. So that's something to think about, and a way to, strengthen your ability to fight off all the different viruses and things that you're going to be exposed to. You're just giving your body the strength to take on life rather than just survive it. And that's kind of what my whole mission is in this company, to give you the strength to take on life rather than just survive it. So anyway, I think that's it. So this was the session that I was supposed to do last week. And I'm going to do this week's session tomorrow, which is all about toxin-free holidays. So we're going to talk about how to take care of yourself during the holidays when you maybe are kind of eating things that you're not used to eating all the time, and kind of, enjoying yourself, which I think you totally should do. But you can also do some other things to help yourself through that process and not end up just feeling, down and like you didn't take care of yourself throughout the holidays. And then we're also going to talk about toxin-free gift giving. So there are a lot of common things that people give for gifts that have toxin-full versions and toxin-free versions. So we'll talk about how to choose some toxin-free gifts that your loved ones will really enjoy. So anyway, that's tomorrow. It's going to be 1 p.m. Well, actually maybe like 2 or 3, a little bit later, Mountain Time. So tune in for that, and you can watch the rest of the Detox Your Life series videos on my YouTube channel, which there's a link on the website, and also on the Facebook page there's a whole YouTube section on the Toxin Free Life page. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little session, and let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you guys soon, tomorrow, for Toxin Free Holidays. Alright, live clean, eat clean. Thanks.